Good morning, students. Welcome back. So, in the previous session, we were discussing about the transportation in plants. We have told about the main vascular systems of the plant, xylem and as well as phloem, and we have seen the difference. Which is the anatomy we had studied in the last year. So, we have seen the difference between the xylem and phloem. So, now the question is, how do plants could able to transport into this much great height? What are the mechanism involved in that behind this activity which they can transport without a heart, without a pumping organ? How the without using you are saying that xylem work without energy, how it is reaching into this greater heights, maybe up to 10 meters or more than that. That is what we are going to discuss today. First of all, how do the plants absorb water? So water is available in the soil in the form of solution. So through osmosis we have already learned movement of water from its higher concentration to its lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So water enter into the roots by osmosis. From there it goes to the root xylem. Now the xylem tissue of root is continuous with that of stem and ultimately till the leaves. So it make a continuous column and it reaches into the till the leaves. So we can see here the osmosis is there through root hairs, it reaches there and the water moves through the xylem. So water moves through xylem is also having two mechanisms actually not described in our syllabus, that is a cohesion and adhesion. You may be knowing that cohesive force and adhesive force, attraction between similar molecule, that is called as cohesion, cohesive force. How can we see H2O? Let us see the chemistry. Two hydrogen molecule combined with one oxygen molecule. How can we see the water? See the water, because if the one water molecule is individual, that we cannot see. So one water molecule is connected with the neighboring water molecules through the cohesion. That means the hydrogen have a slight positive and then it is having the oxygen having a slight negative of neighboring molecules, water molecules connected each other. That is called as cohesive force. Cohesive force. Hydrogen bonding we know. Suppose two paper kept together. Okay, that two paper is kept together. It is easy to separate. But you dip the two paper together into the water and take it out. Difficult them to separate because they have the cohesive force and adhesive force. What is happening there? The water is connected with the water molecule and the water is connected with the paper molecule, that is adhesion. Adhesion. Adhesive force. Got it? So the water connecting with the water and water connecting with paper. So paper, water, paper. That one connection will be, that is called as the hydrogen bond. So this is the same as cohesive and adhesive force. With that way the water goes up to the xylem. Another very good example we can say. Okay, let us go ahead with the remaining topic, then I will tell that. Okay, so you can see here in the finally there is a process of removal of water through the leaves. What is that name? That is called as transpiration. Okay, it acts as a sucking force to absorb water. What is that means? Sucking force. Imagine you are drinking juice. You can also try this at home. A straw, we can use a straw, keeping one end of the straw into the juice bottle, another in our mouth. What we are doing first? We will suck. So what initially we will get? Initially we will get the air in the straw. Then when air is come out of the straw, then there is a vacuum in the straw. Into that vacuum, the other end of the straw open and is dipped in the juice. Only what is available? Juice available. The juice is rising up. The juice is rising up to the straw. And once we got juice, then with a little effort we can drink the juice. There what is happening? The juice water molecules having connected each other, that is a cohesive force, and linked with the walls of the straw. So this is cohesive adhesive force and our sucking force. Our sucking. So just think that a leaf, a tree will have millions of leaves sometimes if it is big enough. Every leaf having stomata. How many stomata will be there in one leaf? 100, maybe 1000 when it is big enough. Hundreds of stomatas in a leaf. Every leaf is acting as a sucking force. Stomata is acting as a sucking force. That means water vapor is going out through the stomata. So there is an emptiness in the neighboring. Here you see upper area. Water is going through the stomata. So there is an emptiness in the neighboring tissues. So they will take water from the leaf xylem. That they will take from the nearby xylem into stem xylem. Ultimately it takes from the root xylem. So it's a continuous column is here. As the water loose from the leaf by transpiration, it acts as a sucking force. Okay, so how many stomata is sucking in a leaf? Hundreds. Think about a big tree. Millions of stomatas are releasing air, water vapor into the air through that. So these all stomata act as sucking force. So what happened? As a result of that force, water is pulled from the leaf xylem, stem xylem, root xylem from the soil. So this is how the water is absorbed by the plants. So great role is for transpiration. Without transpiration, plant could not absorb water this much of greater height. So remember the cohesive adhesive force of xylem, the evaporative or sucking force by transpiration, and osmosis all together will bring the water from the soil into the upper leaves. So what is transpiration? The definition of transpiration: it is a loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial part of the plant. So you can see aerial part in the here, it means the stomata. Through the stomata it is losing. So similarly the same things is shown here. Water from the soil is taken by osmosis. Cohesive adhesive forces in the xylem, it brings the water up till the root, from root to the leaf xylem, into it goes out to stomata. So what are the other advantages of this transpiration? So that is a major driving force or pulling force to absorb water and minerals. Very important thing, minerals also come along with water, so it will help to absorb not only water but also minerals, and help in temperature regulation in plants. Temperature regulation. We know that. When evaporation happens, when we are sweating, when evaporation happens from our body get cool. Similarly, when water is evaporating from the leaf surface, the leaf surface temperature will come down, it cools down. And still, transpiration have more and more benefits. Like cloud formation. Basically, how does it happen? Water vapor. It is also a driving force from transpiration only. This transpiration only makes the water vapor only mainly contribute towards the clouds. You see, in a sunny day, you stand below a tree, stand below an open ground, stand below a building, where we will feel cool below a tree. Why? Tree is releasing water vapor, so that cools the atmosphere also. So if we go and discuss, there is a plenty of things are there, the adaptation or benefit of transpiration. Now let us see about the food transport. So what is the food formed by the plants? The photosynthetic product, that is glucose, and as well as other amino acids, plant hormones. So these and all they have to transport, that is by phloem, another conductive tissue. Now we have told the transport of water by xylem. Now let us discuss about the transport of material by phloem. And we had seen in the comparison of xylem and phloem that phloem uses energy to transport. So where does it transport? It transports from source to sink. Source to sink. Which is source? Where it is produced here. Basically the leaves are the source. Where is sink? Where it is required or where it is storing. That area is called as sink. Imagine the case of a carrot. The carrot plant will do photosynthesis, produce glucose, that convert into starch, then transport into the phloem vessels. So sucrose, glucose into sucrose, and sucrose transported through the phloem vessels, the sieve tubes, into the area where it is required, that is called as sink. And there the sucrose convert into starch and store. Okay, this is how the phloem transport. Let us see little detail about that. So this is what first happened. Same thing I am telling. As a result of photosynthesis in the leaves, here you can see glucose is being produced in the chloroplast. This glucose is shifted into the leaf. Just think about a leaf anatomy. From the palisade of spongy cells where photosynthesis takes place, they will transfer that into the companion cell of the phloem. From there it goes to the sieve tube or sieve tube elements of phloem, we know. So once you can see here, when the sucrose is reached here and having high osmolarity, so because of that high osmolarity, what will happen? Water from the neighboring xylem, because we know xylem and phloem is always running parallel. So xylem containing water, from the neighboring xylem, water enter into the phloem. So what happened now here? Sucrose solution. So sucrose from leaves, water from the xylem increases the osmotic pressure, and that create a heavy osmotic pressure, and in the sink where the content is less, the osmotic pressure is less. So what will happen? The material, the sucrose solution will move from higher pressure to lower pressure area. Where it is less pressure area, there what will move? What will go? Sucrose will go. Okay, it reaches into the phloem. From there, the sucrose move into the companion cell, storage tissue, parenchyma. That there it will convert into starch. So it becomes starch. Then no sucrose. Then again sucrose will move here, convert into starch. So sucrose will go in the form of starch and store. Again sucrose less. Again more and more sucrose can come. Ultimately it will store in that area. And the most interesting thing is that it is not a single directional movement. What we have learned, the silent transport is only upwards, so a single directional movement. But phloem can transport up and down. When it is down, let us see. When the glucose sucrose is transported here, there will be water will be excess. That water will go to the xylem. Okay. So for transporting sucrose here and sucrose here into starch, they need energy. So that is why ATP is being used here while transport. Now think, the plant is stored food in the roots. And the conditions are not favorable for the growth, but it needs to survive. The food is required. So what is happened to the cells where it is stored? They act as souls, and where the cell it is required for growing region, bud, etc., fruit, there it got as a sink. So from here the starch convert back into sucrose, sucrose enter into the companion cell to the sieve tubes, and water from here sucrose solution higher osmolarity go in this direction also, where it is required it broken down into glucose and release energy. So in the both the way plants can transport the food items through phloem. Okay, so that is called as source to sink movement. I told you source to sink. What is source? Where it is available, where it is produced, or where it is available more. Sink where it is less, more to less area. That osmotic pressure is generated by sucrose plus water, and water also move along with the phloem. So remember, phloem also transported water along with the sucrose. So that is about the plant transporting mechanisms. Now we are going to discuss a new topic that is called as excretion. So what is excretion? So a lot of people are having a wrong notion about excretion. The concept of excretion says that removal of metabolic waste from the body is called as excretion. But removal of solid waste, the byproduct of digestion, that is called as defecation. Fecal matter removal, defecation. Excretion means removal of harmful metabolic waste, basically ammonia, nitrogenous waste, nitrogen containing waste, that is called as excretion. Okay, so different organisms will do this material in different manner. Suppose most of the fishes, they do excrete ammonia they will excrete. But mammals and higher land animals, they will excrete as urea. While birds, reptiles and amphibians, they will excrete as uric acid. We have seen the bird shit and falls down on body, white color pellets or creamy like. It can cause burning also. A lizard, like a rat, it excretes, we have seen. it containing both black and white portions, half black, half white. The white portion is their urine, black portion is their excretion. So in order to reduce the loss of water, they excrete in the solid form. But we have plenty of water to drink, so we excrete in the form of uric acid. But we cannot excrete as ammonia, we cannot excrete as uric acid, we do excrete as urea. Our system is there to excrete as urea. So we are going to discuss about the human excretion, not about the other mechanism of excretion. So this is all different organisms having different type of excretory systems. Let us note down this. Okay, platyhelminthes are flatworms. Flatworms, we know, planaria, etc. So they have protonephridia or flame cells. Special type of cells. It look like a bulb, so it is called as flame cells. And earthworms having nephridia, like nephron of human being only, structurally almost similar. It is excreting to the cuticle, outer skin surface. That is why the earthworm's skin appears moist, because they excrete into the skin. That also helping them for respiration, because that will keep the moist skin to dissolve the oxygen and absorb it. Insects having Malpighian tubules. So we had to study the Malpighian tubules, special type of tube-like structures in the insects, all type of insects. So they have Malpighian tubules. So different type of glands are there, and vertebrates having kidney. So just need to know what are the different types of excretory organs of organisms. We have prepared this table. Okay. Now let us see the most important one, that is the human excretory system. So in human being, we are having a system of organs, a group of organs. We can see here. Okay, a pair of kidney, left, right kidney, a pair of ureters, the two connecting on the kidney here, and a urinary bladder. The bladder is located here, and urethra, the opening of the bladder, that is called as urethra. So these are the components of our excretory system. Of course, there are blood vessels which supply the blood into the kidney, that also there. But the major components, what we will say is a kidney, ureters, urinary bladder, urethra, the parts of human excretory system. Once again, you can see that kidney, here other parts removed. This is what yellow color you are saying, that adrenal gland. We'll discuss that later in the next chapter. Adrenal gland. Okay, so let us see about the kidney. So kidney is located in the abdomen, actually towards the back side of that, on either side of the backbone. Just our vertebral column or backbone is there, close to that, in both the side. Actually you can see here the backbone is running over here, this white color here. So through that it is running in both the side, it is located. Right? Then, so the role of kidney is to filter the blood and remove the waste material, especially nitrogen containing waste material in the form of urea, and as well as excess water. That is filtered and passes through the ureters. This is the ureters, passes through ureters into the urinary bladder. It will be stored there. When time comes, it passes through the urethra opening. Okay. Now human kidney, it appears like a bean. What is the kidney structures? Their main function is to remove the nitrogenous waste, excess water. I told you already, from the bloodstream they will remove. Here you can see the cross section of human kidney. You can see that renal artery, it is entering into the kidney and branching and branching and branching, and it has a unit of filtration that is called as nephron. Okay, through nephron the blood will be filtered. We are going to discuss about that, how do we do that mechanism. Okay, cross section of human kidney. That is what called kidney have filtration units called nephrons. So this is the nephrons. You can see the filtration unit is shown here. The yellow color two blood structures. It's a part of kidney. It is continuously connected with the blood capillaries. Okay, and this nephron, around 1 million nephrons are there in both the kidneys. So large enough, 1 to 1.5, large number of nephrons are there in every kidney. 1 million nephron in every kidney. So this is only one shown here. Here all full of nephrons, and here all full of nephrons. You can see in a very pyramid, renal pyramids having full of nephrons. Now what will happen? See, behind these blood capillaries there are openings. You can see the pipe like structures. Okay, renal calyces. So this all the nephrons, you can see this one collecting duct. This is a collecting duct. See, and through that urine comes. So that is what is shown here. All collecting duct open into these calyces here. So that there will be numerous hundreds of calyces opening here. So hundreds of collecting duct open here, here also, and here everywhere. All through the calyces, it comes to the main calyces, then into this initial opening part of the ureters, and come back to the urinary bladders. Okay, this is how the filtration happens. So let us see the structure of nephron. This diagram is not required for you in the examination point of view, but still for understanding purpose, how does it working out? See, inside the nephron, the initial part of nephron, that is called as Bowman's capsule. So this part is called as Bowman's capsule. So the opening is like that. The structure is like cup shaped Bowman's capsule. Inside that, blood capillaries are entering. You can see that artery is entering. Afferent arteriole, it is called afferent arteriole, is entering and forming a minute branches, as here shown again like this. Minute branches are shown. Then it is going out. It is entering into branching and going out. Okay. So the function is there. Let us discuss that. So this is what this part glomerulus you can see here, and this part is shown here as in the enlarged form. Okay, this glomerulus is shown here, afferent arteriole, and after that it is filtered here and is passing through this proximal tubules that is coming right like this, a long coiled tube. You can see here, long coiled tube. Then this is the collecting duct. I told you collecting ducts, and going to this renal calyces. Okay. So this is a structure, Bowman's capsule area, where the filtration takes place. How the filtration takes place? When the blood is coming here and passing through these tubes with high pressure. Through pressure it is going into smaller capillaries. Already we have told about capillaries having small openings. So the liquid content and waste materials, nutrients, etc. will be filtered here. Everything will be filtered. Almost everything except the bigger proteins and RBC, remaining all content of the blood, liquid content of the blood at an extent the smaller proteins and nucleic acids, glucose, minerals, urea, metabolic waste, everything will be filtered over here, and that filtrate will passing through these tubes. When it is passing, what we required, we will reabsorb. So this is what we have to learn here, the role of glomerulus, that is for filtration. So this is how it happens. Again I am telling the same thing. The renal artery is bringing the blood into the kidney, so that containing waste material, urea and uric acid, and many other substances like drugs, etc. is not required. If we consume B complex tablet, B complex is good for us. It required for our body. It can purchase from the market also. If you purchase and drink, consume B complex continuously, our body will not store B complex. It will go through the urine. So excess drug, metabolic waste, excess water, everything will go through this urine. So artery will bring all these things. Now what will happen? The blood get filtered through the glomerulus. I told you about glomerulus. This area where the blood is getting filtered. Then that filtered will enter into the tubular portion of the nephron. Nephron structure, you should remember the tubular part of the nephron. There what happened, the tubular part of nephron. I am showing you the tubular part of the nephron. Here blood capillaries are not shown. Only the tubular part of nephron has shown. Okay. When it is passing through this tubular part, what the filtrate? This is where the glomerulus filtration takes place. We know. When it is passing through that, we don't want to lose the glucose. We need glucose, we need amino acids, we need minerals. So these components we will reabsorb. But urea, excess salt, like drugs I told you, water, these type of materials will continue their journey, and ultimately leading into collecting debt. So there is a role of blood vessels to reabsorb the nutrients what is required for our body from the tubules. So this is what I told you, the tubular system of nephron, and you can see that the arteriole which is coming out from the glomerulus, efferent arteriole, which is branching and rebranching, covering over the tubule of nephron. Why? They are responsible for reabsorption of nutrients. Are you getting or not? When the blood is coming out, it is thick, because the liquid portion is already removed from that. When it is passing through that, except urea, the nutrients like glucose, amino acids, required water, these all components will be reabsorbed. Reabsorbed, because already once absorption is over in our intestine, then reabsorption takes place. How much we require, that much of only we will do reabsorb. See, if our body is having more water, we need whatever water required for body purpose, remaining water will remove through urine. That is why if you drink more water, more urine. Less water you drink, less urine. Or you do a lot of hard work you have done, just like exercise you have done, or running you have done, then the urine content will be less, because water is used for thermal regulation, temperature regulation. Okay, so this all depends on how much waste is there or how much water we require. Now, once all the filtration is over, now what will happen? This is what we can see here. The urine is collected from different renal pelvises. It is coming through this ureters. Okay, ureters, then into the urinary bladder. So urinary bladder is little elastic, flexible. It can increase the size as the urine is getting accumulated. But urinary bladder having here sphincter muscle. I told you already previously, muscle which will normally close the bladder. So as it fills, the message will go to our brain hypothalamus. So if you are ready, the voluntary signal will go from hypothalamus, okay, open. So the sphincter is open and urine will pass. Okay, so the kidney, the urine enters into the ureters, and through ureters you can see here enter the urinary bladder. Then urine is stored there. Then the pressure is generated as it is filled, and our brain will give an urge. I want to go. I want to go to toilet. If it is ready, I told you it is passed through the urethra. This is what a mechanism of urine passage. Okay, so it is about a human excretory system. So excretory system of human being and the structure of nephron we must learn to draw. Very important. Now let us see the excretion in plants. So plants do excrete the materials. What are things plants excrete? Plant excrete oxygen. How does it oxygen act as excretory product? Because of photosynthesis they will produce excess oxygen that will release. How? That is how we are getting the oxygen. Sometimes plant excrete carbon dioxide. When there is no photosynthesis, only respiration is there, plant starts to release carbon dioxide. And water is releasing, through transpiration, through water vapor, in the form of water vapor. So these releases of oxygen, carbon dioxide, water happen through stomata or lenticel. Lenticel already we had learned the openings, crack opening the stem and as well as roots. Okay, so stomata is a good excretory part of plant. Sometimes some material cannot be excreted, that they will store in the older cells. In the older cells of the plant they will store it, and that gives a mechanical support also. This is what, see, how do our furniture, the wooden table, become very strong? It is not porous. If it is xylem phloem or cells, if it is dyed, it should be porous, holes should be there. No, all the dead cells are filled with the metabolic waste of the plant, so that make it is very strong. Just you take a small PVC pipe, one length pipe. It is, of course, it is little heaviness is there, but if it is closed in one end and filled with sand, other end also closed tightly, it become very lethal. How? Because it is filled in that. Similarly, the metabolic waste is filled inside the dead worn out cells of the plant. That gives the plant the mechanical support, the strength is given, as the image is shown here. And what we are getting here in the rubber as latex, gum, resins, all the plant product, some plant products like latex, gum, resins, these are all the excretory material of plant. Plant does not need that, but we store in that area, so that we are getting in the form of the product that required for us. This is called as guttation. Water they send out through the margins of the leaves. Dew, you have seen in the early morning, in some days, the grass is having dew on the surface, because this is how the water they are pumping out to the tip of the plants in the smaller trees and as well as in grasses. Sorry, not smaller trees, herbaceous plants and grasses. We can see this guttation process, that is also a type of excretion in plants. Still more, I told you about resins, gums, Sometimes what they will do, they will store in older leaves. The waste material they will store in older leaves. When the leaf fall down, the waste also removed. When leaf fall down, the waste also removed. And some plants, by using energy, they will pump out the waste material. Or something in the leaf they will store, just like a latex. Sometimes they will pump out through the roots also by using energy. So these are the various way by which plants do excrete the materials. This is the storage inside the tissues of dead tissues. So that's all of our chapter. Thank you.